Hello to everybody watching, listening, and welcome to what probably is the single best game of Mechabellum that I've played in my roughly 125.3 hours playtime on Steam. This game, it had everything. I made a list here in the background, I got it. So, I hope you like Advanced Fire Power Control System, Max Rank, Max Tech Carry Wasps, Overlord Spam and Mass Giant War, double-digit turns with back and forth and Rhino Mobile beacon shenanigans, and late non-mech diff actually useful steel balls. Yeah, this game has everything. I am playing here against an absolute gentleman. It also featured an absolute gentleman, Mr. Andy, from what he told me his name translates to. He's starting with cost control into Fangs and Phoenixes, while I'm starting with heavy armor specialist into Fangs with sledges and then some crawlers. I'm positioning my board in this pattern here, but I will shortly correct that because it was too aggressive for my liking, because I think the crawlers would legitimately come in way too late for them to matter. This guy, very unfortunate for him, he switches into Stormcrawlers turn 1. Against somebody who, admittedly, if this was all I had, like these units here, he would be fine, but this is crawlers coming in, and yeah, those two squares actually made a good difference, I would say. So the first turn is not going well for my opponent. As you can see, the sledges are going for his fangs. My fangs are still mostly intact. They're starting to take down a phoenix here. Meanwhile, the stormcrawlers are locked in on the tanks, which at this stage are not that useful anymore, but they still are very good to get rid of those stormcrawlers. This turn really was not a good start for my opponent. Reinforcement time. He's immediately going for subsidized stormcrawlers. I guess if stormcrawlers fail, you're just not storming enough. I'm debating in my head a bit, but if memory serves, yeah, I'm skipping. My opponent, of course, adds more stormcrawlers. I'm thinking, he's probably going to add more stormcrawlers. I'm dropping some marksmen because I want a more reliable counter against his phoenixes here. And I think I'm also mass recruiting for some crawlers. Pretty sure at least. My opponent has simply added stormcrawlers, but he's also saving a lot of money from the looks of it. And I'm just putting them here. Okay, now he spent everything. He mass recruited for another phoenix. Or another squad of phoenixes. So these fangs, these crawlers here were absolutely amazing. Look at how many shots they are baiting. This is glorious. And now that they have, died in the middle, those crawlers, I don't think anyone is actually manning these units. Like, they can get hacked and just act the same way. Also, no human would ever even remotely be as stupid as the AI of these things. That's my 2 cents on it anyway. I'm not sure if there's any official lore, but just to put it bluntly, these crawlers in the middle have gone down, but the crawlers on the side were going in at the correct time, and this right now is looking really good for me. Reinforcement time. Tech specialist, easy pickup I think. He's instead going for incendiary, because as you can see, everything except for the sledges is just going to go and die from fire. And the sledges, if they stand in the area enough, they will also just go down. Also, he's not content with having one source of fire. He also wants something between turns as well, or rather, in the future when this is on cooldown. Meanwhile, I'm starting to mix in a rhino, because I have been experimenting with rhinos, and one use for them is, if the enemy has something that is good against chaff and clearing it, you can just mobile beacon a rhino around and have all these stormcrawlers miss gloriously. However, as you can see, this is an absolute... it is absolutely horrifying to see these squadrons of fangs just dying, and then the remaining fangs are enough DPS, even on this side, to deal with the crawlers. And once the crawlers are down, there's not really much left to protect this. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Vulcan is just single-handedly, basically, carrying this entire side. And I'm scratching my head because I am up against Phoenix Vulcan. It even stays alive on low health. Yeah, on low health. Giants staying alive on low health. Now I finally found the words. It's kind of a staple of this channel, I would say. At least on my opponent's side. I'm going in for carry wasps because carry wasps are amazing, and I think everything else is not really pulling its weight. My opponent on the other side, I'm thinking he's going for the Mustangs, but I'm not sure anymore. We'll see it in a moment. I'm definitely thinking, for the moment at least, this is good. I'm immediately throwing Elite Marksman on those wasps, because now they already do almost 1500 damage. It's my opponent. Here. He dropped the Mustangs. He needs, or rather he wants, more chaff clear. Personally, I'm unsure what to do here, because, yeah, I'm mobile beaconing, but how am I going to counter these Vulcans? That is so much HP on the board. This is a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of damage on one side. Plus, of course, he has the, in theory, at least for the moment, perfect counter. These Mustangs still have superior range, and they will absolutely shred the wasps if they get to shoot at them for too long, or for even a short while. I am unlocking the fortress, not remembering I don't have the money to even do anything with it. So I sell one of the fang packs, I think that was here, adding in a sledgehammer and another set of crawlers to come in late and hopefully distract something. Also, the Mustangs are on the same side as my wasps, but fortunately they are being pulled a bit into the middle. Many thanks to this absolutely glorious Rhino, distracting so many Stormcaller shots and so much Vulcan fire. But is it going to be enough is the big question. Right now, these wasps are going to go in. Phoenixes are dropping, but look at the other fronts. Like, we have basically the left flank, the middle, and the right flank. And the middle and the right flank were completely obliterated. However, these wasps, they don't, they still want to pull their weight, and they are going to level here, no doubt about it. Now, however, my opponent is still sitting on enough units that I can't efficiently kill enough, because even though these wasps are level 4 with Elite Marksmen, they are still outranged by these Phoenixes, so all they can really do is lower the damage I receive in this turn for a bit. I'm scratching my head more and more what to do here. Deployment specialist for him, I'm skipping because I think my future here, and I think that skip was correctly, I think while I was playing, the skip was more or less instinct, what do I want or not. And I wanted to go for the fortresses, I wanted to go for giants, so put down the fortresses, let's see what it does. Because these Vulcans are not good against the fortresses. Also the Rhino's time with all these units here, it has more or less ended, so I'm selling it. I haven't invested anything other than the 50 credits to unlock it, and I'm thinking, you know what, let's move a couple of crawlers up so they can get some shots distracted, and maybe have them come in at a later time. Meanwhile, what is my opponent doing? He is adding in more and more Mustangs. He's giving them range, because these wasps, of course, are scary. They are now outranged by 45 meters. This is going well. First salvo of a couple of Stormcaller shots at least being baited. Oh yeah, and I also gave my fortresses anti-air, because I thought, if I'm going for fortresses, might as well go for anti-air. Unfortunately, the first salvo didn't kill anything, so he has a lot of damage, but the second salvo killed all but one Phoenix. That said, it's not like... Basically, it's now more or less split in the middle. Now the left side is winning, and quite handsomely so. The right side is still losing, and not by a small margin. However, I've basically, if you put it into sections, 1/6 of the battlefield is now going my way instead of his way, at least this time. And now, he does not have the damage to really deal with what I have, and also kill the wasp, because all of the Mustangs are locked onto the fortress. And yeah, this fortress, can you see that health bar? There's still a sliver of green here. So, when I said that Giant staying alive on low health is a staple on this channel on my opponent's part, I guess now I'm guilty of that as well. I admittedly forgot that that was happening until it, happened.